for the benefit of the public, so to speak, could you explain what a portfolio holder for housing, what exactly roles are involved there?
Well, portfolio holder for housing means I provide political leadership concerning provision of housing for all Thurrock's housing residents. Provision of it also includes homelessness, so dealing with the homelessness strategy, of course dealing with sheltered homes, making sure that we have as minimum empty properties as possible, making sure that this whole system is fair so that people at the top of the waiting list, they've got the top priority, get homes as soon as possible. And of course there's a sheltered home which deals with provision of residence for the elderly. It also includes the other aspect of it is housing benefits, which means all those of our residents who are relying on us to for benefits or for their house to be paid through the council, again falls under that portfolio. So it's quite a wide remit.
So you get the areas in which we've touched on last year regarding, say, 129 homes out near Bannatynes, and you're asking those questions, so to speak, about infrastructure. But also the area of you said homelessness and housing benefits. That must be quite a difficult area to deal with.
Yeah, there are always challenges, and I always prefer the word challenges and difficult. There are always challenges because we've got, give or take, a 7-year waiting list. We don't have enough properties to go around, and so it's just making sure that the system in place, that the system is appropriate, it's fair across the borough, and it's applied appropriately. And that's the important thing. And when we're talking, the other bit of it where you're talking about the extra homes which were proposed behind Bannatynes on Howard Road in Chafford 100, where we're talking about that's the bigger picture, is regeneration across the board, and wherever we're doing the regeneration, whether it's in just talking about houses in that area, or we're talking about the Garrison project in Purfleet, we need to talk about all the things that go in. It's not just about putting houses in, it's about putting houses, making sure that there's adequate transportation links, and making sure that there's school places available, making sure that the GPs are available, making sure that that area is a community in itself. And that's what I've been.
So you've been a portfolio holder now for a number of years?
I've been a portfolio holder for housing. This is my second year for portfolio housing. But prior to that, I was in a year in highways and transport. Prior to that, a year in ICT and governance. Yeah.
So in respect of housing and the Audit Commission, Director and Travel, etc., not a great report. I mean, how things gone since that report?
Obviously, when external auditors, so to speak, come in and have a look at what we're doing and say we're not improving adequately, then it tells us that we need to go back and get our acts together. You put it in quite succinctly on your website sometime back when we were talking about the leadership election in here, saying look, there seems to be a shortfall in housing, and is this the right time for Tunde to be moving out of it or something like that? And to me, it's we learn the lessons from the audit report. Why are we not providing the service? Why are we not improving adequately? And there have been challenges. There have been challenges in respect of staff. There have been challenges in respect of resources. But you don't just look at the negatives. You look at the positives too. On the positive, we are one of the few boroughs in the country, as far as at least in the east of England, where we are saying March 2010, we aim to deliver on decent homes, which means residents would have a right to, obviously, the government have of course a policy on what they classify as decent homes, and residents have a right to have a very good bathroom and a very good kitchen, among other things, and we have made that one of our key delivery targets. And so we're working towards that. Last year, around February or so, at budget setting, the cabinet put in an extra £800,000 towards that. This year, you might know we've won an extra £3 million to go towards that. So we are talking about improving those areas, because another thing which we do is managing the repairs and maintenance. And when I talk about all that, you think, look, we've got about 10,300 homes in Thurrock, most of which are occupied by residents. 10,300 homes. According to the stats, one home, no, one property, I should say, generates about, let's say, 4 calls to the council per year. So if you do the maths, that's 40,000 or 41,000, give or take, calls per year. So if we get 95% of that right, and we get 5% of that wrong, again, the maths means that that is about, what, 2,000 complaints. So immediately you hear 2,000 complaints against the council, it sounds very damning, but in the grand scheme of things, we've got 95% of it right, and those ones you don't hear about. One thing we do in housing, with there's an internal newsletter going out to all our housing staff, where we just don't just say these are the things going wrong, but the other side of it, we say compliments. Councillor XYZ sent a compliment, or this resident sent a compliment, so that people know that it's not just about, staff know it's not just about complaints and what's not going right, but these are the areas you are going right, and well done to that.
And do you think that is a hard does that take a lot of hard work to try and extract the compliments? Do you think the system's there?
Well, I think across board, and then this is me generalizing, many more people would put in a complaint than would put in a compliment. So if you got 10 things right and 10 things wrong, I would expect probably of the 10, if I can quote the Bible, I think when so many people 10 people got healed, only one person came back to say thank you, and I think that's what you have. But if there was a complaint and 10 things went wrong, if not all 10, I would be surprised if 80% of that would come back to say you've got this wrong. I think that's the nature of the beast, to be honest. So as long as we don't get complaints, and I check the reports, but and we see that we're ticking the right boxes. But it's not just reports. I go out to visit all the areas. I've visited all the local housing offices. I've met with the area office managers. Recently there was another issue in around Southampton area. I went unannounced to see the officers there, not because I doubt the reports I get here, but I'd rather go there and just on a one-to-one, just like you and I had, saying, what are the issues from your perspective? And at times, like, who are you? And like, I'm Tunde, I'm portfolio holder for a house, and you might have seen my name somewhere. And I say, oh yes, and then sort of like open up and say, look, it's on Chatham House rules. I'm not reporting you to take it back to say you said this and they said that. It's me understanding what the issues are, and knowing from that area how to deal with it. And of course, it makes me understand how the policies have been applied. So.